Okay, today looks like we're working on an ASUS Zenfone 3 laser. These names only seem to get longer, I swear. Here's the pertinent model information there. Trying to cover over any other pertinent information because it is a customer's phone I'm working on today. And this one here, as you can see, the SIM card slot's already been removed. The tray, that is, has already been removed for me. Due to the fact that they accidentally got the SD card jammed down in there. So that should be all kinds of fun to try to get it out of there. The SIM card holder was actually also in there. I got that out for him, but could not get the SD card because of the little pop-up pins that are in there. So we're going to have to pop the screen. I already removed the 2 screws in the bottom. I actually already had the back off. And started taking out a couple screws, and I thought, hey, might as well make a YouTube video, because when I went to look up, see if anyone had posted one yet, there is no Zenfone 3 lasers for any type of repair on YouTube. So I was like, might as well upload a video. I'll probably get quite a few views on it. The Max video is pretty similar. I did view that one. We're going to use some of these cheap little opening tools. I got quite a few available because, well, they come with every phone screen imaginable. And basically, since we got the screws out of the bottom, we'll start down there. Try to keep it on camera for you. Basically, it's all clips. It's a very metal back with all plastic clips holding it in place. It'll probably be a little more difficult for you because, as I said, I already had the back off this one. The thing you definitely don't want to do is bend too far, though. As you see, it'll start to get stressed right about there. And you don't want to, of course, stress that screen too far because it will crack. And then you'll have a much more time-consuming repair, which I'm not going to take this one all the way down to the screen because all I got to do is get to the SD card slot. But pretty much, if I show you how to get to the SD card slot, I hope if you're at all tech inclined, you'll be able to make it the rest of the way on your own to get to the screen if that's what you're probably replacing, because that would be the most frequently thing broken on any phone. I'm sorry if I bumped my camera mount. It is a very cheap one, and if it starts to shake all over the place, I am very sorry for that. Especially with my metal background here, that probably make you dizzy as it shakes. But take and pry there. And the easiest one I found was to stick something very, very slim, which kind of works if I jam my fingernail along the little edge here. Actually, probably the easiest bet. Give me a second here. Is one of the Sesame opening tools, which are amazing for all kinds of stuff. Which I can't seem to find mine. So we'll go with the next best thing, which is some kind of basically razor blade. And I recommend keeping those under there so it doesn't keep popping back in on you. And we'll just take and lightly pop that under there. Keep moving down, and there we go. Like I said, once you get under there, it starts to pop free pretty quick. Right near the buttons here, you're going to want to be careful. Underneath those, if I can show you here, there are little push switches that are activated by those buttons, and if you slice into those, you are going to make the repair just way more worse for yourself. And we'll go over the other side here and apply the same technique as the first side. And I would definitely recommend using one of the Sesame opening tools, just because it's less likely to scrape that nice... Oop, don't do that one either. Scrape the finish a lot less with that tool, and it's a little thinner than the razor blade, so it'll go in much easier. Get those back in after my nice fun drop there, actually. Got it open the one side so I can get my finger in there, which is way better than the plastic tools because I can spread it further. Trying to show you as much as possible on camera here, but the right angles are not always the best. And if I wasn't trying to show you on camera, of course I wouldn't have dropped the phone and made it look all kinds of fun. Okay. Pry back up on this side. Like I said, these clips are a pain in the rear end. They're not like the iPhone clips where they just kind of pop up on their own. These ones are much deeper clips, which I'll show you once I get inside the phone. And once again, sorry for my cheap mount. YouTube is not my primary, so, you know. Not worth spending the extra money on, I guess, a good mount yet. But if I get a whole bunch of views on this, hey, we'll put the money into some better stuff to maybe show you a better video next time. Okay, there we go. Got another clip to go. That's the sound you want to hear. And there's still more clips up top, though. These ones I should be able to get with a plastic opening tool because I don't want a chance marring it up any more than I might have already done. And with any type of clips, you just slide along. Start with somewhere where you got it open and work your way up. Keep applying pressure as much as possible. And usually, there we go. That's the final clip on that side, and this one, there we go. All opened up. Now, I'm going to lay this back down this way, and I'm going to grab a paper towel, and that's just for something to lay the screen on, because obviously, if you're not replacing the screen, you don't want to scratch it. And as you see here, there's a little pop connector. Be careful when you're out lifting this. If you yank that, once again, repair is going to cost you more than it's probably worth, because being that this is a relatively new phone, those parts are probably not readily available. And if they are, they're not probably going to be cheap yet. And this one here actually had a warranty seal over it. As you see, like I said, I was already inside here. These first two here are a battery holder clip to hold over the pop connector. And actually, rewind back a little ways here. The first two screws do require a T2 to remove them, which is not a frequently common screwdriver. As you see, it's quite the fine tip. I'll actually pull out the screwdriver so you can see the one I use. Very small. Not as small as the pentalope that the iPhones use, but still very small. And actually the pentalope is more frequently available than probably a T2. But I thought I'd just mention that there, that you'll want to make sure to have the right tools before you start the job, because, well, starting a job without the right tools can, well, be a mess. Okay, and this connector just kind of falls off after you get the screws out of the way. And then, of course, as in any repair, you always want to try to remove the battery first. Well, not remove the battery in my case, because I'm not actually breaking down all the way to the screen, but at least pull the pop connector. get power out of the way. I am pulling the whole motherboard pretty much today, so I am going to pop these two other connectors. And this is my first time inside here, so bear with me on finding all the screws, and if there's anything weird in my way that I probably should have realized, but maybe I don't. Another really good tool to keep on hand is basically a really fine tipped hair and tweezers of some kind. And that works really nice for little tiny things like this. You just kind of want to lightly pop out of the way. Move that as far out of the way as we can here. And that's just one of the antennas. I'm actually very surprised iFixit or one of the other YouTube channels doesn't have a video of this yet, but I didn't see anything for the laser, so I'm posting a cheapo video, and it's better than, you know, nothing at all, so I'm sure iFixit will have one up soon enough. I'll be surprised they're recording at the same time I am right now. Probably kill my view ratio, but whatever. I'm still getting paid for the repairs, so that's all that really counts to me. But I never have a problem helping someone out. So if you got a repair that you have a question about, message me. I'll answer as best I can. I fix almost all different electronics. Don't fix any kind of TVs or DVD players. They're not really worth fixing much. Learn everything about one of them, and then you never see it again, and, you know, you did all your research for basically nothing. This is actually very similar to most Motorola assemblies or LGs, other than there's not like 3 sets of motherboards layered over each other. Well, not motherboards, but a motherboard with a whole bunch of daughter boards, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, let's see if the camera pops out of here without too much fuss. Yep, camera comes out pretty easily. That's a good thing. Really never fun when they don't want to come apart. Got a flip connector here, which nails are usually the easiest way to deal with any kind of flip or pop connector. If you don't got nails, I recommend a plastic spludger of some kind. Which, if you watched any kind of YouTube video, everyone else will recommend the same thing. Here I'm going against my own rules and using metal, but at least I already pulled power, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. And let's see, I think we got almost everything free to lift the motherboard now. So you can see here. Always, of course, be extremely gentle when lifting anything you haven't, well, when you don't know what's underneath, let's put it that way. And obviously in this build, all the mid-frame is probably glued to the screen underneath, so it's probably going to be a pain in the rear end to change out that screen. You probably can buy the mid-frame right with it, and we can see our SD card, I think, stuck right under there. So let's see if I can use my little tweezers here and basically slide it along and get it back out of there. Try to keep it on camera as much as possible. Hoping some of these clips don't get in the way too much, because I really don't want to have to remove that metal plate, because that's solder work. And quoted the customer a pretty low number because they shop at the store also, which I work for the store, so they would let me run my computer business / repair business out of their store. I don't want to usually, rape the customers too much on cost. If I can do it for cheap, I usually do. But solder work's one of those ones where I draw the line, because solder work is not easy. Okay, so we can just flex this slightly, this little metal plate. Technically, the plate's not 100% need to be perfect, but Also, you can't bend it too much or you won't get enough force to connect in the SD card and everything when they actually put the tray back in place. Okay, I'm going to pull it off camera for a minute here. Okay, I had to pull it up closer so I could see better to get it moving. As you see, I'm slowly just inching it along through little holes here. Only other thing I got to watch out for is to make sure not to bend too many of the little pins that are supposed to, support everything else. Because then I'll be soldering pins back in place if I break some of those. And that really won't be fun. Okay, let's see if we can keep inching it out here. Basically, without the tray, never stick anything inside one of these. And there we go. And look at that, a micro SD card. 32 gigs. I think that SD card probably costs more than what I'm charging them on the repair. But no damage to the pins from what I can tell. They all still look pretty good in there. So I'd call that successful. Obviously, to hook this back in, you just do a little bit of the reverse here. Sure to get all the connectors out of the way so you're not, squishing any of them down and forget about them. Okay, all laid back down. I'm actually going to put a couple screws in to secure things so that I'm not, bumping things loose as I'm trying to reassemble. Always recommended to put a few screws in, even if you had to put them in relatively loose, just to secure it enough so that you can, move it around without it falling all back apart on you. And all these screws are the same length, so at least it doesn't matter which one you put in where. iPhone, that's one of the things they're notorious for, is putting all different size screws. And this disconnects a lot like the iPhone, just the screen isn't the only part that comes off, which is kind of sad because it's going to make repairs on it miserable. But yep, if you want to send me a message about getting something fixed, just let me know what it is. I'll quote you a price, and only thing additional on that price you got to pay is, of course, shipping both directions. So if it's something bigger like a PS4, you might not want to do it. But I do fix those, and they do have quite a few issues that need to be fixed. I do fix Xbox Ones, I just don't see them as often. And let's see if we can get the camera to drop back in here. Pretty sure this phone's relatively new, so I assume all this stuff through here is some kind of flux or something, or some kind of sealant that was supposed to be inside the phone, hopefully. I always like to document that kind of stuff, though, because you never know if somebody got something sticky in your device, and obviously they'll try to claim a warranty or something if that sticky causes damage later down the road, and always want to avoid that in repairs. Fixing stuff for free is never fun. I mean, if a warranty happens, but obviously extra warranties are no fun, especially if it's not your fault. If it's my fault, I'll make sure to fix it, but if it's not, well, Oh. And this little pop connector wants to be pain. There we go. And of course, antennas are always fun to reconnect because these little tiny round connectors are pains in the rear ends. I'm going to probably take it off camera to actually reconnect that connector because I got to look at it carefully and make sure it's going right. Okay, we got that one all hooked back in too. Always push down a few extra times, make sure everything is secured on those. I'm actually going to re-disconnect this one because I just don't want power until I get most of the screws in. Okay. Oop, it's actually our warranty seal one. Even it doesn't matter where I put it, I'm still going to put it back where it belongs, because I at least know where that one goes. The rest, like I said, they're all the same size, so it doesn't really matter where they're at. Always start checking that immediately, though, to make sure the screws are the same size before you get too far into the repair and realize one screw's longer than another. Because on an iPhone especially, that can cause some major issues putting the wrong screws in the wrong place, because they'll push down on the motherboard in certain areas and cause blue lights, red lights of death, stuff like that. And for the third and final time, I'm going to apologize again about my camera and how much it's moving. It's a heavy phone on a plastic mount. Okay. Now I think all I got left is, yep, the 2 screws go there. And it looks like I got 3 screws, though. Where did I miss one? If you're face palming right now, I'm sorry. And okay, that's the pop connector for the back connector. Oh. The only reason I'm missing it right now is because I'm taking and filming for you guys. That's how it usually works. Okay, so I got 2 connectors for that. Oh, that's where I'm missing it. There's 2 really close together over here. Okay, that's pretty much all the screws there. Next I'm going to put the back on. And it's just basically that one connector. Needs to be connected first. Try to see if we can use the tweezers to get that bad boy in there. Not that you can see probably very well what I'm doing to connect it anyways, but it does stretch out quite a ways, so at least they gave you that. But I'm basically going to say goodbye, and you guys have a good day, because I'm going to flip down the back, and I don't want anyone seeing the customer's information on the back of the phone.